everyone, and welcome to Brown Eyed Philly Girl. My name is Alexis, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing the Proov PDG tests. I'm going to talk about the test itself, when I ovulated, and then towards the end I'm going to show all 5 tests, the PDG tests. Apparently my cat Cobra wants to be in the video today. Say hi! So the purpose of PDG Proov tests is to basically just confirm whether or not you ovulate. I'm going to read a little bit just from the website to make sure I'm 100% getting this right. Proov PDG tests measure the urine marker of progesterone, the hormone released after ovulation, to confirm whether or not it was successful. So we're measuring PDG here, and that is in conjunction with progesterone, which is very vital for sustaining a healthy pregnancy. Basically, what you're supposed to do with the first test is you take that as like your baseline. Typically, the baselines will be negative, and then for the 4 out of the 5 tests, you're supposed to take those on days 7, 8, 9, and 10 DPO, and if those are successful, they will read positive. Proov PDG tests are a little different than LH and HCG or pregnancy tests. With the PDG test, 2 lines means negative and 1 line means positive. So in a perfect scenario, that's how everything would go. I'm going to talk a little bit about this more later, as my scenario was anything but perfect. In the footage you're about to see, I go over getting the tests, taking them for the first time, and then showing you each of my results. There might be a little bit of repeat information here, so bear with me, but just a little disclaimer before you watch the footage. I thought originally I took the first test incorrectly because I didn't take it within the recommended cycle days 5 to 10 at the beginning of your cycle, and I took it on cycle day 12. But the reason why they want you to take it on 5 to 10 is because they want you to take that first test prior to any LH surge, and for me, cycle day 12 was prior to that. So although I'm about to say that I think I did it incorrectly, I did it just fine because the first test did establish a true baseline. Anyways, just wanted to get that out there, but here we go. Okay, so these just came in the mail today. Unfortunately, I already know I'm going to do this first test slightly incorrectly because I'm not establishing a true baseline. You're supposed to take the first test at the very beginning of your cycle in the first few days. And today I'm on cycle day 12. So unfortunately that is going to be off. However, I'm more focused on what the last 4 tests will look like and be like when I'm testing on days 7 through 10 post ovulation. And I suspect that I'm going to be ovulating sometime this weekend. Okay, so these are the 5 tests that they give you. Here is what the test looks like right out of the packet. Here is the testing card. I'm supposed to dip this for about 10 seconds and then wait and then read the test results in 5 to 10 minutes. So here we go. Now I expect this test to be negative, so we should see 2 lines at some point. So I'm just going to wait it out and see what happens. All right, it's now been 6 minutes and we definitely have a second line, so we are negative. It is now the morning of cycle day 17. I don't really know what in the world is going on. This morning I took a test and it was the most negative it's been in a while. It's Tuesday. I expected to ovulate this past weekend, and I would have thought by now for sure I would have had a positive ovulation test, and I have not. So not totally sure what's happening. Alright, so it is now cycle day 24. Based on my last ovulation test, I'm going to say I'm about 4 DPO. I'll be doing the Proov test later on in the week, around 7 DPO, and we'll see how this goes. So for the following pictures, I'm going to go over individually what each of the tests look like for days 7, 8, 9, and 10 DPO, and then at the end of it, I will review all 5 tests side by side. All right, so here's what I saw at 7 DPO. Basically, that was the first of the DPO tests that I took. After looking at that, I confirmed that I only saw 1 line. However, if you look now, you can squint really hard, you can probably see there's a faint second line. But to me, when I looked at this test for the first time, it looked positive to me with the 1 line. So that's the way that I recorded it in my app. By the way, you can use their Proov app. They do offer that. And then with the app, you're able to more accurately compare the PDG tests to whatever the app's system is. I decided not to get the Proov app just because I'm already using a Premom app. And in the Premom app, I have everything recorded. Everything's already there already, so I didn't really want to get a second app, but that is an option for you. On 8 DPO, I did have to pee in the middle of the night, so I didn't know this prior to taking the test, but they recommend that you wait 6 hours of like not going to the bathroom before doing the test, due to the fact that I had to get up early and I was in a bit of a rush and all that. It was what it was, and I took the test after 4.5 hours of not peeing. So I don't know if that threw off anything, but anyways, this is what it looked like at 8 DPO. I looked at that, I saw the second line, I thought immediately, wow, this is negative. That sucks. I didn't take a full picture with my phone because, like I said, I was in a bit of a rush that morning. And also, I was kind of pissed off that it was what I thought it was negative. So here's the picture from my Proov app. At 9 DPO, it didn't look as negative as the day before. However, because of the second line, it did look kind of negative to me. And then at 10 DPO, I feel like this looked pretty similar to 9 DPO. It might be hard for you guys to see, but when I looked at this, I still saw a second line and I thought it was negative again. The reason why this is a big deal, having those 4 tests go positive and then 3 negatives, is because usually that's a sign that ovulation was not successful, because you want all 4 of those tests to be positive or at least be trending positive. It's one thing if you get 1 negative and 3 positive, but to get 1 positive and 3 negatives is generally not a good sign. So after taking these tests, I did not feel relaxed at all and was a bit stressed and thought maybe there was something wrong with my PDG levels. After the 10 DPO test, I did do some more digging and found out that just because those tests had a second line does not necessarily mean it's automatically negative bad. Apparently, as long as it is not as dark of a second line as your baseline test, then technically you have ovulated. Here's a blurb that I took directly from Proov's website. Your baseline test shows what your negative looks like. It's different for anybody. So understanding what your baseline looks like can help determine whether or not you've actually ovulated. So basically, a 7 DPO test that looks negative might actually be positive. As long as the 7 DPO test is significantly lighter than your baseline, you have ovulated. And then they put in parentheses, see, we told you that baseline would come in handy. It's a good thing I did the baseline. I almost didn't even bother since it was 12 DPO. I thought to myself, like, is there really a point to doing this? So if we go back and look at the 5 tests all next to each other, you can see that the baseline, the first test, is definitely the darkest. And then the other 4 are not as dark as the first one. So based off of that and what I read off the website, I determined although these weren't 4 perfect positives, they were still lighter than the baseline, and thus that meant that I did in fact ovulate. Looking back on the whole thing, I'm not sure if I would ever buy these again. Right now I'm 11 DPO, right? And I'm 2 days late for my period. I usually have 29-day cycles at most, sometimes a little bit less than that. And I'm 2 days late. And usually, if it wasn't for these Proov tests, I would be pretty excited about this. And being 11 DPO, I'm going to wait a few more days before I test. But now with these Proov tests, they've kind of made me feel a little uneasy and definitely stressed me out. And now, even though I know what I know, and I'm pretty confident that I ovulated, this has just added more anxiety to the fertility journey, which was already fueled with a bit of anxiety for me anyways. If you watched any of my past videos, you know that my first pregnancy ended in a miscarriage. So I'm trying for my rainbow baby right now. So I'm already a bit high strung as it is, and taking these tests I thought would give me a little bit of peace of mind, and instead just led to a bunch of confusion and more stress. So let me know what you think of Proov PDG tests. Would you buy them? Have you bought them before? Like, do you already have an experience with them? If so, I would love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you want to follow along further with my fertility journey, I'd really appreciate it. And please feel free to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Bye! Cobra, you're like so crazy right now. Hello, my goodness, you're so needy.